Right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Wow, I sound 4K right now. Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today is episode 371, and we are fully into the dog days of the sports here. Dog days for most, but for the Waterboys, we are working overtime right now on the wish list. They will be pumping out by the minute, okay? Stay tuned on TikTok. Go there right now. I'm cool with it if you click off this video right now to go to the TikTok. Completely fine with me. You have my blessing. But it is crunch time right now. Big time period in the year. And there's no better way to start off this period than some college football news. Trinidad Chambliss has been granted his sixth year.
I think you believe it's his
sixth year.
I mean, like I think we've talked about it on the podcast a little bit.
We were kind of assuming he was going to be gone. I think the last time we brought this up.
But I do think that we have brought up the fact that he has come back, that he got granted eligibility, and I think I remember saying that how like some guy in Montana has gotten his 9th year of eligibility. So like, I think we've mentioned it, on the podcast before, but not necessarily in an extreme like analysis way, which is kind of what we're doing now. The big thing with Trinidad coming back, this honestly the biggest argument that we've been talking about, I think, on the podcast with them is like, why would you forego the NFL draft
when you are a projected top pick
and you're going to be likely a first round pick? Like,
is it really just brick? Is brick that bad?
Likely is not the right word. Like, you and I are very high on Trinidad.
Yeah, no, he isn't. He wasn't likely.
I don't think necessarily unless he shows out the combine and stuff. So
6 foot, 200. I'm just looking at his
in that way.
Things, like
in that way, like I do understand it, but I understand wanting to go back to college, and obviously he's got a big amount of he's a big on an L deal, I'm sure, but.
100%. He's getting fat.
I do think it was possible for him to raise his stock to end up being the second quarterback drafted, and now we're looking at an NDSU guy potentially as the second quarterback.
Well, this
drafted.
Upcoming year, it could be a pretty good QB class. So like
next year or this year?
Yeah, not this year, but next. So
next year. No, next year will. It will be like. That was part of our argument, where it's just like, why would you go back into a class where you're gonna have Dante Moore, Julian Sane, Arch Manning?
Wait, Arch has to dip after next season. He is a true senior, so I just realized that too. Arch must go.
Sam Levitt will go. Lenora Sellers will go.
That's a big name.
That's a very big name. Darian Mensah probably will go from Miami.
Yeah, and
another big name.
That was another one where I thought this window, like, dude, Mensah might be one of the first quarterbacks off.
Desmond Williams, I think Washington's guy. He might go. I think
Damon
Williams.
Damon
Williams. Yeah, Damon Williams can go.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of guys.
Hey, everyone's saying number one quarterback next season on every single list. Hoover, TCU transfer to Indiana. I mean, let's see if Sig can pull it off again.
We'll be on it. But like that's the thing. It is also interesting. I don't remember the guy's name. Also, the JMU quarterback. He'll probably also
help me out. LSU's quarterback is Mensah, right?
No, LSU's quarterback is Sam Levitt.
Levitt, okay, and Mensah's Miami.
Yes,
got it.
Yeah, but here's that's the small frame picture. The big picture of how this evolved, the impact of this is eligibility for players in college. It is kind of funny. This entire thing rolled on a case of Trinidad fighting for his life grant. He had to fight for his life with a case of tonsillitis. I'm getting a fraud alert right now on that one too. So
I mean,
quite
for good reason.
Yeah.
No, that was quite an article headline to read. That
they had the doctors and everybody. They were like, he couldn't breathe properly until this year. Quite literally. His performance was dipping.
I love seeing in the courtroom pictures of him signing autographs for Ole Miss.
To the judge. Yeah.
I was like, dude,
that definitely
it means more.
Well in the legal
it means system. More in the South, all right? It just means more. You can't.
But it also, that. So like that's the big thing. And it's funny that he got approved for it, but Diego Pavia, they were like, no, dude, get out of here. Like, we don't want, get out of here.
And these are up to state court rooms,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So,
I think we had talked about
maybe
that too,
Tennessee, they're just like Vandy quarterback. That is quite literally the lowest of our concerns.
They were like, if you were Aguilar,
if you were the
played
Tennessee quarterback,
sure. If Hendon Hooker wanted to come back and play, we'll make something happen. Peyton Manning, are you interested in coming back and playing college? You might have a year or two left.
Yeah, but Vandy,
no.
Yeah, then I'm not sure that's high up.
But that is also the thing is like, we talk. I think we also talked about this is like it gives state judges. You just go to one of the state judges and you're just starting to whine and you're like, hey, you're an Ole Miss graduate. I want this to be my quarterback. Will you help me? They're like, yeah.
Real quick, while we're on this right now, do you think it was more so the potential Mississippi State judge being an Ole Miss fan that got this to happen? Or do you think it's Trinidad, although his excuse was awful, you need some like medical excuse to get that?
No, they like it's both. It's both. They needed a literal excuse. Like they couldn't just be like, oh, because the JUCO stuff didn't.
They don't.
The JUCO D2 stuff like
that.
That was not that. They tried it and it got denied. So they had to think again. Like, hey, what can we argue to get a red shirt year?
So it's technically like a medical red shirt year that they added
essentially, Grant, what they essentially did was they went between the lines of the rules
and like added a red shirt. Is that it?
That's what happened. They added a red shirt.
But that's how they got it.
They were saying that we should have gotten a medical red shirt year for this year that he played, but whatever. So they went within the lines of the rules to try and get
tonsillitis red shirt.
That's what they did. But I also think in any other court, if you go, I had tonsillitis, will you give me a red shirt for a year because I couldn't breathe and that therefore impacted my play? And my coach was like, I'm going to red shirt. The biggest argument was the coach apparently told him that he was going to medical red shirt. He didn't get one after he said that. But you're like, why would you now wait till right now
to bring it up?
What are we doing, right? Maybe he didn't think it mattered at a certain point, but
hey, I mean, 12 months ago right now, I'm not even sure if Trinidad had transferred to Ole Miss yet. He probably had. But, I mean, certainly 12 months ago right now, Trinidad did not think he was going to be the starting quarterback for Ole Miss at all. It was Austin Simmons' job.
But also just like, I think it was any other court, the judge being a local, judge.
Mississippi judge.
I'm pretty sure he was an Ole Miss grad.
We're just going to assume that.
We're going to assume that, but like that obviously makes
a fan at minimum.
That makes a massive difference, and it's not the first time that sports and fandoms have influenced like judicial decisions. So like I can't say I'm surprised.
I'm just saying I need to know though.
I do.
Everett, tell me you wouldn't pay-per-view purchase arbitration hearings. I need to see those. I would pay-per-view buy that shit immediately if I could watch these ARB cases.
They're just like, some of them, it'll be funny. Like you'll watch, it might be
one of the judges just tapped in. He's like, you're trying to lowball Tarek Skubal? Like, dude.
No, that specifically, I would want a pay-per-view for to watch that. And then just be like, sorry,
I'd love to hear a judge
Tigers,
like
you guys gave
baseball. Like, do you guys know how much Skubal's spin rate has increased over the last 2 seasons?
It would be interesting just to hear the arguments in the contract.
Yeah,
like, that's more so what's interesting.
I'd love to hear. I just love to hear how a judge would react to like, we have potential evidence of this player being like somewhat of a bad teammate. Here's a 5-second audio clip of a locker room moment, and it's just like. The least incriminating thing ever. Cannot confirm that player said it at all.
Back to Trinidad, like obviously him getting this extra eligibility, it opens up a window in a small way for players to try to get another year. But because this did fall within a medical exemption reason, like,
that's a key detail.
It's just more so going to open up everybody be like, I bruised my toe halfway through the season when I was a sophomore and I was already not playing. So I should get a medical red shirt here.
I don't have this on the top of my head, Everett, but I know, I don't know what they increased it to, but I know NCAA starting next season is increasing the number of games a player can play in and still maintain red shirt.
But it's going to be grandfathered in, so you can't go back now to 2 years.
Sure, but
whatever.
Is there any chance, I don't know if this exists, let's start here. If a player plays like the first 3 games of the year, hurt, out for the year, can they medical redshirt?
Yeah.
They can?
Yeah, that's your limit. You just can't pass the limit.
Okay, but like I was thinking, it's not like if you played in that season, you can't med redshirt. I don't know.
No,
I just feel like medical redshirts, you don't like.
No, I think medical red shirts apply the same way as normal red shirts do. I think that it's just like if you hit your quota and then you get hurt, you get.
Well, I'm just thinking if a player, if let's say it's now you could play in 6 games and maintain redshirt status, like what if a player starter, like a full-on starter, first 6 games go Jeremiah Smith last season, first 6 games goes absolutely off. And then they just like throw him on the IR type thing. Could he just bed redshirt? And
it's still up to the player. Like if it's Jeremiah Smith and he does that, he might be like, I don't care that
he doesn't need it anyway.
I'm going to the draft. It doesn't matter.
But
that's the thing though. Like if you want to be sneaky with it, sure, but you can do that already. Teams already do that. And
no, I know. I'm just thinking
at the end of the day, like if it's a really good player, the player's not going to be like, yeah, I'm going to stay around for you guys instead of going number 5 overall in the NFL draft. Like, no, that's not.
I just want to look into some more med red shirts. And I'm curious if there's any.
I don't know if there's one on par as tonsillitis. I don't know if that might be the first time.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. But I wonder how many examples they've had of some teams, like let's say it's a lineman. Okay, you're going to be on campus for a while before the NFL. They're like, hey, can you like play up this injury so we can med redshirt you?
I mean, like. They kind of feel like that already kind of happens.
Sure,
like, the disclosures and stuff's already up to the team. So, like, NCAA compliance has always been adequate. Like, it's not elite, it's not completely shit, but like it's baseline adequate. And because there's so many schools and players, things very easily fall through the cracks like that. So.
Another thing just on college football that I was looking at recently, and before I was kind of all for letting the kids come back, but after seeing this point, now I'm not as sold on always team let the players return. But like by Trinidad keeping his spot, still getting to be the Ole Miss quarterback, this guy is like a few months younger than me. Okay, I graduated from college.
Are you talking about the transfer quarterback in or Trinidad?
Just not necessarily the transfer part, but just players in college football getting a 5th, 6th year. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Okay. But just on that point, like a 5th, 6th year quarterback, like these guys staying for an extra year, that technically prevents a new high school senior from getting a spot in college football. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it just impacts the incoming freshman classes. There's less freshman recruits taken now, and especially with the portal, now guys are really looking for upperclassmen, especially. But, any concern there with like we are limiting the future prospects, the incoming high school, incoming freshman class? Like, we concerned about those kids, or are we, we're cool with the 6-year kids? Those kids are the ones that we care about. Which kids do we care about, Everett? I don't know if you could hear me or not, but okay, you can. Mike might not be working. But that's my question to the audience, really. All right. What do you guys think? Team freshman kids or team 25-year-old kids? Pick which kids you support, because it can't be both. It can't be both. All right.
Yeah, momentary issues with the microphones. Might need to get that one looked at, unnamed intern. That was supposed to be your job. But yeah, I mean, it will be interesting just to see. I was trying to catch some of what you were saying.
Pretty much just like
doing this over Zoom.
Incoming high school kids are kind of getting screwed by.
No, that's very true. No, that's very, very true. And it's been like that really since NIL started.
Sure.
And so I'm not surprised by that, but. The difference between this and Pavia, though, because that I think is going to be a really big point, is that Pavia wanted an extension originally because of JUCO, and Trinidad then tried to get the JUCO route, and then didn't get that either. So then he went to the tonsillitis medical redshirt route.
Yeah, so pretty much JUCO is not getting you eligibility.
It should not be getting you eligibility.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
Which is fair. However, I do think the NCAA approving the additional games for redshirting will massively harm incoming talent to college football.
Yeah.
Like it will. It will. And you're going to probably see players become older going to the NFL. We already know that it's going to happen with the NIL in general because more players will stay to make money. But you're going to see that, expedited a lot now that teams are going to redshirt players.
I was going through the Chargers offseason wish list. Shit, I'm going to list you the list of 25-year-old rookies, okay? Starting off, well, Amari in Hampton, he's 23 years young. Ladd just finished year 2, he's 25. Trey Harris just finished year 1, he's 24. Jamari Caldwell just finished year 1, he's 26. I mean, these are KLS just finished year 1, he's 25.
Is Michael Penix, how old is Michael Penix? 26 right now?
Yeah.
He's 23?
But Diane Henley, I was looking at this. He's going into his 4th year of his contract. He's 27. What? He got drafted at 24. What? Excuse me. Well.
Yeah, and I think a while ago we would think older aged rookies would be 24. Like that's now kind of the 23, 24 is the common age of rookies. Like it used to be 21, 22, and now I feel like it's 20.
Yeah, but like that's now getting older, and just kind of on that topic, NFL, like now these guys are going to be 27, 28, their first free agent period. And like teams are likely not going to be giving a mega reset market contract unless you're 25 hitting the market.
So like I get now, staying in college, you're making NIL. And at some point, the NIL you make is going to be more than your rookie contract. So, yeah, I get that too.
For some cases, but if you're a top 5 pick in the NFL, Everett, you're getting a lot of money.
No, that's also the thing. Like, let's just think about it this way. A lot
more than what you get in NIL.
If you are, let's just say first rounder in general, you get the 5th-year option, guaranteed money, etc. Right? If you're a first-round player, it's not 100% success rate, but on average, we would like to think that let's just say it's a 30% hit rate that you'll make it to your second contract. 40% you'll make it to a second contract, right? If you're a first round player and you have a 40% chance, 30% chance to go and get a second contract in the NFL, albeit as a starter or as a backup, why would you not go into the NFL and get that? Because if you go and wait later and you end up falling out of the first round or something, your contract that you're going to make is going to be sizably less. You might not even make it to a second contract.
And another thing, assuming you are a first round talent, and so let's just play the game like if you went this year, you're going like 26th. If you wait next year, play well, you could go like 12th. Keeping that second contract in mind, that's when you get your bag. Like you might have an easier time getting to that second contract on the better NFL team getting picked 26th than if you were picked early. No, I'm also thinking older guys, could 5th-year options start to kind of seize out because guys will be like 28 by the time they hit?
I don't think no.
And
it
then
doesn't.
At that point,
it's still a year. It's still a year of control by the teams. It makes no sense for them not to do that. So no. No, I don't think that it's
okay. All right, I was just thinking there, but
I mean, I like your attitude, Grant. I mean, I'm trying to innovate.
I'm trying to think of all outcomes
I get it.
Of what happens with these older players.
But yeah, it's just an interesting study, I think, more so to see how this all kind of plays out. And there was also, I don't know what his name is, but there's a guy who transferred into Ole Miss that was promised that he was going to start irregardless of whether or not Trinidad came back, and then Trinidad came back, and now that guy is like definitely going to transfer out.
Could it be Novosad?
No, it's not Novosad. But that's just an interesting thing is now you have players that.
Wow, Novosad's at Bowling Green. All right, so we'll never hear about him again in our lives. Sorry, I apologize for even saying his name on this pod.
But you'll have guys more and more like this kind of stuff might play later and later, and that could also affect the portal. And now with there not being a spring portal, like
Oh,
this is kind of
Deuce Knight
yeah,
transfer.
this is a pretty big issue for players, especially if stuff like this happens and there is no portal that they can leave because they were guaranteed a situation, albeit coaches all the time guarantee stuff and then they go back on their word just to get you on the team. That happens a lot.
I would say that
In
happens in like
college.
85% of recruiting
Yeah,
situations. You are
it's very,
told you're
very,
going to
very true.
start,
You
and then
got
you
hey,
show
if
up.
you're listening to this,
Do
your
not
recruiter.
believe Lane
No,
Kiffin when he says you are guaranteed to start.
no,
And
I
do
was going to say
not
if you're
trust
listening to
him
this,
when he says the NIL is guaranteed. It's not.
you also are at fault for this. If you've ever played NCAA, I guarantee you, your head coach to get any of your prospects when you get five stars at the same position, you're doing the same thing. All right, you're also to blame. You're so complicit.
We do the same thing. Damn it.
You got experience.
We do the same thing. Okay.
But yeah, no. So with no spring portal, it's very tough when coaches make these promises, and now you have this additional level to it where you have players kind of coming back in different ways and in different prolonged periods of time. But arguably, Grant, I mean, college football isn't like the biggest thing, news wise. I think that
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean, on that sense, at least these are college athletes staying in college. At least that's where the story ultimately lies. However, in the NBA and college basketball, yeah, I mean, just as everything's been so college football focused, and for good reason, that's where all the money is. I get it. Everyone's turning a blind eye to college basketball right now. That shit is quite literally breaking college athletics as we know it. So it's all started out when a former G League center committed to the Baylor Bears. Complete side note, completely irrelevant. He's awful for Baylor. When he played there, he was so bad. So that's a side note. Regardless, he was then had his eligibility re-pulled by the NCAA. He can no longer play for Baylor for the rest of the season. So they instated him, then pulled it like essentially after seeing public backlash. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then they pulled it.
I get.
But that guy, I think they pulled it saying like he was like professional at one point. I don't know exactly why they pulled it. Baylor probably pulled it because he sucked, to be honest. That's probably
we'll go with that theory. Pulled. Let's go with that theory, Grant.
But we're assuming that's what happened. Baylor is like, this is a mistake. Just end this. Because Amari Bailey, who literally has played in NBA basketball games for the Hornets, is taking a visit to Grand Canyon, not like Duke, not like Kentucky,
here's the other
program.
Thing.
He was a 5-star, went to UCLA. He's going to Grand Canyon, and he's going to be allowed to play, despite being in the NBA.
Bediako just got denied the ability to play. He's no longer allowed to play, so I don't know if he'll be able to.
Well, he's out. Yeah, no. Well,
no. But I'm saying I don't know if whatever, I don't remember who you said it.
Amari Bailey. Well, we don't know.
I don't think Amari Bailey will be able to play regardless because Bediako was not. I mean, he did play.
Well, this is the thing.
Now no longer able to play.
Well, I think it's seeming like Amari Bailey is going to be allowed to play
even after Bediako got.
Well, I think I'm now saying this out loud. I don't have proof, but I think Baylor was like, this dude sucks. We made a mistake taking him. Let's get him out. Reverse the call, NCAA. I don't know. I don't know. He's not good.
But regardless, it's the precedent, Grant. Regardless, it's the precedent that it's set. So you can't let one player not play in one play. Like that's not how it works.
But what if they pull some Trinidad thing here? Find some loophole.
Well, that's a way different situation. Trinidad never played in the NFL.
No, I know. I know.
The UFL or XFL, whatever.
I know, but shit, the NCAA at this point.
Well, honestly, this is the bigger argument. This is really what the bigger argument is. If you've played in a professional game, talking NBA game, NFL game, whatever. Like, let's look at it specifically NBA, MLB. We're talking about the show, not the minors. The show and the NFL. Those are all professional leagues. You're probably not able to play if you've done that.
I think minors even counts.
Well, now that's what the question is. Minor leagues are kind of semi-professional, right?
I think they count, to be honest. But
that's what my point is. Like minor leagues are kind of more semi-professional. So like the G League the minors in the MLB, or you can count the XFL, UFL, whatever, right? Like those are more semi-professional than professional. So that's more so what the question is, because you have players who get to go play in Europe and come back and play in college in the United States. So that's where the question lies is, hey, if those are on the same scale, then we should be allowed to play. So that's I think
that's a good argument, actually. That's a pretty good argument for it.
But I think if you played in the NFL or the NBA or the MLB, not counting the minors, those are all professional leagues, especially specifically in the United States. Therefore, those are mute. Like, that should not apply. Like, you should not be able to play if you've played a game in any of those leagues because you played professional of that same sport, right? Like the NCAA originally, you were not allowed to bet on professional sports if you played the sport in college. Like if you were a college athlete, you were not allowed to play because you either knew,
Well, that and also, standard. If you remember J.R. Smith when he went to go play golf. But
that's a different sport.
I remember in that situation, it was laid out at the time that J.R. Smith is allowed to participate in any collegiate sport that isn't basketball because he was pro. Like that was already set. Like,
but that's fair.
But
that's
how
fair.
did it get reversed for Bediako?
Well, now it got re-reversed. It's the snip, snap.
No, from the sure, office, but it's like how was he ever allowed to play a game for the Baylor Bears this season? That it's crazy that they even started
I actually
there.
I don't know. I literally might be the same situation as the Ole Miss guy who's like, I'm a Baylor grad. Yeah, I'll let this happen. And then I went to the next court and they're like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah, I just my thing is like I know we're talking about precedent set, and for like 99% of organizations,
precedent set.
Precedent set for 99% of companies in America. Yeah, if there is some former, playbook on how they operate, that's set, it'll probably follow it. But the NCAA is in that 1% of companies in the world that the past don't matter. They do whatever they want that hour. You ask them in 30 minutes, it could literally be a completely different opinion.
No, like that's fair, but we're talking about court systems when it regards this, and that's why I'm just like, I don't think that Amari Bailey will be able to play. Like, I do think though that there is a legitimate argument that will be made, if it has not already, about players who are coming from the G League or from the minors in baseball or something that want to play in college because they'll be like, well, these guys played in Europe and they're allowed to play. Why can't I play? This is semi-professional. I can't live off this. I either have to work another job or something, but it's not like the entire league. It's a development league is the argument, right? Same as Europe. Europe's viewed more so as a developmental project for the American
I see your point,
leagues.
though, for the baseball thing. My one thing is, though, it's like I just feel like college baseball teams, like, they're not interested.
Well, like, here's also the other thing. Like, this is more so the bigger question, Grant, for the pro leagues in the MLB and the NFL and the NBA. If a team drafted you, they're going to retain your rights, right? Like if you go back to college, you can't re-enter the draft. The team that drafted you is still going to own your rights when you go back to the league.
Yeah.
So the only thing that you get out of it really is NIL. And I don't know how much NIL there is in college baseball, but predominantly it's in
I have no idea.
Basketball and in football. So I don't think you're going to see this issue in baseball, but like basketball specifically, because a lot of those players come from Europe and there's a European league. Like LaMelo went to Latvia, like Lithuania, whatever, right?
Actually, LaMelo's kind of a great example, right? LaMelo, he was banned from playing in the NCAA because he had a shoe deal in high school, and he was considered a professional athlete. And so the NCAA deemed him a professional athlete. You're not allowed to play for USC, which is where he would have gone. So it's been set. If you're a pro athlete,
but that's because of a shoe deal. That's because of NIL.
But that considered him. It came down to him being considered a pro athlete. But that's because of
NIL. That's not because he went to play in Europe. That's because he got NIL.
No, I know, but like that was because the NIL he took qualified him as a professional.
But that was before. But I know, but that was before NIL was a thing. You couldn't have NIL and be in college. That was the problem. So
sure,
that they classified
but it wasn't the shoe deal thing. But it was.
But it wasn't because he went to play in Europe. But like that's not the point.
Yeah, no. But like it's the professional athlete thing. The guys going to Europe. Well, this is another thing. Dudes in Europe, if you're that good, you're league.
But I'm still saying I know
like
the
some guys right now.
I'm making this universal argument. Don't think about NBA contracts in the way they work right now, right? You can be younger, go to the NBA.
I say this
NFL.
another thing. The NBA doesn't consider Euro to be.
Let me just circulate this, okay? We're talking about the NFL. We're talking about college football specifically. But if we look at the NCAA and the NBA as the same way that we look at college football and the NFL, like how contracts are more stagnated and it's not going to be as big of money, right? Like there's more reason and incentive to stay if you're not a first round pick because you might get more NIL than if you're going to get, in the league, right? If we look at it that way, right? And European players are not necessarily going to get as much money, going into the league right away compared to going over and going into the NCAA and playing in college because of NIL. That's where the question lies. We're like, hey,
no, they get more money going to the NBA.
I just said think about it like you think in college football and the NFL. That's the point.
It's just different. That's the point.
I know, but I'm saying it 100% of the time. Like you're gonna have players. You will have players who are probably not going to be a first round pick, maybe not even a second round pick in the NBA draft who play in Europe, but they could potentially work their way up that if they got to play in the American market and in the NCAA, because maybe they're better than a lot of NCAA players, but they're older and they've been playing in Europe.
Okay, that's actually great. Like right now, do NBA scouts, like if anything, like they are throwing college basketball players at the side recently. It's been
that's true. That's true. But I do think if you have a guy who really stands out in college basketball, they will give you more attention in general. So I'm saying, like, if you're a guy in Europe who hasn't been getting much attention, then why would you not just do that? And that's what the argument is.
But like my thing, though,
that's my same thing. That's also the thing for the G League guys. Dude. This loops back into the G League, though. This loops back into the G League, where you're like, European players, like if that's semi-pro, like why should I not be able to go and play in college? Like that's more what the argument.
I'm pretty sure Europeans can't. They just like don't.
They don't. I don't know if that means they can't though. I don't know if that means they can't.
They can't. Like Mo Wagner, both the Wagners went to Michigan. Like they can. I'm just thinking though, like if the European is that sick, so we're thinking a Wemby recently. But
I'm saying this is how it also relates to the G League. This is how it relates to the G League and those players being like, well, I haven't played an actual NBA game. I've only played G League games, and G League is a developmental league. The same way we think maybe Europe is a developmental league for the NBA. Why would I not be able to go and play
here, actually, Jalen Green's a good example because he didn't do college basketball. He just went
to the G League. But that's the same thing. You could avert college basketball to go play in the G League before the draft. So why would you not be able to go back and play in college basketball? You haven't used eligibility.
Yeah, I'll be honest. From the G League point right there, okay, I think the bigger issue with Bediako is that he was drafted to the NBA. I think that's where
draft rights, but also in college baseball, you can get drafted by a team and not go. You can still go back and play in college. Your rights are just
but you don't take status. If you're waiving.
Yeah, but your rights are retained. That's what I'm saying. Your rights. But I'm saying the league in general.
No, okay, if you get drafted in the MLB and then you go to college, that first draft, like that's the risk of.
But I thought your rights get retained. So when you go to the league, the team
not for the MLB. No, MLB. If you get drafted out of high school, then you go to college, you're back in the draft. A new team takes you.
Okay, so the draft rights revert.
Yeah. Yes, like baseball. Well, baseball's also just like so old; they have that shit figured out.
I do also think here's the other thing. Generally speaking, if you're a player who's trying to go back from the G League to college basketball, you probably not get drafted. Good. You're not very good, right? Like that's kind of the whole.
Well, yeah, no, this Bediako guy was awful for Baylor.
Yeah, so like I don't necessarily think that matters. I don't think
Amari Bailey. Amari Bailey, like probably would
also
be a top 10
bigger than that. Then
if
draft rights revert, if you go back to school, then you could get drafted again.
But that's for MLB. Like they.
But I'm saying if that's how that works, it probably isn't a far stretch though for the NBA to maybe work the same way. Obviously, this is all hypothetical. We haven't
really structured.
No, I know, but I'm saying we haven't even seen a scenario where we could do that because once you're drafted in the NBA, we haven't seen a player go back to college. This is the first time we've ever seen
it.
This is the first time we've ever seen it.
Yeah.
So I'm just playing a hypothetical world. If you were able to go back to college from the G League, But like that's the same. The greater argument is why could you not go back to college from the G League, especially if you're in Jalen Green's situation where if you skipped college to go to the G League and it's developmental, you should be able to go back.
Yeah, I think this is a thing for all those
It's just
guys,
the definition of whether or not it counts as the NBA and it counts as a professional league. That's really the end of the day.
like Jalen Green specifically, like Scoot Henderson, all those guys that skip college or do the G League for a year, they're like shoo-in top 3 picks. So it's like they're in a way different situation too.
But also like if you still have eligibility left in college and you never actually played an NBA game or was on an NBA roster, you were only on the G League.
Are we saying Bediako shouldn't have been kicked out?
No, he should be, but I'm playing devil's advocate.
But I'm now with your devil's advocate. If the guy had never played in the NBA,
it's just a definition. It's whether or not the definition of the G League and if Europe,
your EuroLeague point's the best thing for this whole thing.
It is whether or not it's considered a professional league. That is the issue with NCAA.
I think the NBA doesn't consider, like if you played Luka for Real Madrid, I don't think they consider that
so if it's semi-professional, because I think it has to be, semi-professional doesn't matter. If it's semi-professional, like the G League or Europe, let's say that, I think if you've never once played a snap or a whatever the fuck the term is for basketball.
Played a minute in basketball.
Played a minute. Thank you, Jesus. You should be able to fucking go back.
Dropped a club trillion like Mark Titus. All right.
Like that makes sense. Like I get that argument. Now, do I think that that's best for college basketball? Absolutely the fuck not. If you leave, dude, like that's on you if you suck.
On the topic of college basketball entertainment, I think there is nothing that could be more entertaining than Amari Bailey leading the Grand Canyon with their stadium, their arena. I don't think there'd be anything more interesting than Amari Bailey leading the Grand Canyon University Roadrunners.
Now, it is more like here, this is what a caveat could be. Really what a caveat could be. Like a lot of those guys have not probably finished their degrees. They probably left for the NBA before they finished their degrees, right? If you want a caveat, a true caveat, if you really care that much about going back to college, you're ineligible for NIL. You can go get your degree. You can get redrafted. You can't get NIL. So you really have to choose, like, hey, you could up your stock, you can get your degree, and maybe you'll go back to the NBA and maybe the team will like you more because you now have better film and you're out in the G League.
Yeah, now I think we know what most
and most guys will be like, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm staying in the G League.
No, but
like that's the
honestly,
caveat.
though, I think though that's hey shit. The NCAA moves so fast. I'm cool with that being a workable solution for now.
Like that's quite literally.
I'm cool with it for now.
And I think there's not enough players where that's is such a unique situation where like they never played a single minute in the NBA, like not a single minute in an NBA game, whether it's an all-star, a preseason, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's preseason, all-star, whatever. You know, the Team World versus Team USA, whatever the fuck it's called, right? Like the rookie teams. Doesn't matter if you've only been in the G League, you've never played another minute for an actual NBA team. You can go back, but like that's what the caveat has to be because you're still technically semi-professional.
Yeah, I'm looking at Bediako specifically right now. Yeah, he never played a minute in the NBA. His first year being drafted, this might be in it, I don't know, but he was technically signed to a professional contract, and then 3 weeks later, it was converted to a two-way. But technically, for 3 weeks,
you can't.
He was considered a
professional athlete. You can never have been considered a professional athlete.
Yeah.
Like so Bediako, I don't know. Was Bediako always?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Bediako, for 2 weeks, he was technically listed as a San Antonio Spur. And then 2 weeks after that, he converted to a two-way contract.
So that's where the gray area is. Like I think because most of the time, like
the Spurs screw Bediako.
The team have affiliates in the G League, so a lot of the time they send you on a two-way contract, which is like major minors, right? Like so it's difficult. So a lot of the time I think you sign with the professional team.
Bediako was undrafted, Everett.
So he just signed technically with the G League.
I'm now really on the side that he should be allowed to play. And knowing that he sucks, like, dude, what's the harm?
So we've gone from the start. We've gone from the start
Dude,
of
I
this.
believe he should play.
We've gone from the start of this, you being like, absolutely not. I sat here for 15 minutes
He
talking about the
sucks,
same
too.
point. Now
That's
you're like,
that's
play
another
him.
big reason
Play
about
him.
this. He sucks.
Play him.
And so, like, it's not like, you know, I kind of want Amari Bailey to play so we can finally have an answer when people
see,
online are like, any NBA eighth man could carry a March Madness team. Well, let's find out Amari Bailey.
Man. He's not
That's
even
what I'm saying.
an eighth man.
But, like, people say that, so it's like, let's see it, Amari. I'm curious. I want let's play out this debate.
I mean, then there's the question of, like, if you sign a professional contract, like, I don't necessarily know how the NBA contracts work in that regard. Like, if you sign with the G League affiliate, do you sign a contract with the NBA team, or is it only with the G League team? I think you have to sign with the NBA team, and it's just considered a G League contract.
I think if it's a two-way.
Otherwise, you just sign with the G League.
My thought is Andre Ingram, if you remember that Laker guy who was like 30. So, like, he was G League for life, got called up 2-day contract for like a week. Like, I gotta go replay the 2K game where you start in G League, because that will tell me, actually. That will tell me. It's just like him specifically, like, I think he was considered technically not an NBA professional athlete until that day where he went 2A.
Yeah, okay, so, like, he technically is a great example. He should have been able to come back and play in college.
Yeah, assuming he never gets called to the Lakers.
Had a professional contract, he should be allowed.
But honestly, I think, like, going back that LaMelo point, him losing eligibility the second he was considered a pro athlete,
professional
deal,
that's the difference. It's what is a professional athlete. That's what is a professional athlete.
He was considered a San Antonio Spur for about 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, so, like, he probably wouldn't. It also depends, like we said, we don't fully know how the NBA contracts work. So if you have to sign with an NBA team to play for the G League, then it's a different argument. But if that's not the case and you were considered professional for 2 weeks or whatever, then that makes you ineligible.
Yeah, but okay, we're seeing it. We're seeing it here. But hey, this all started off with a Trinidad Chambliss argument, as problems could be there. It doesn't even pale in comparison to the NBA in college basketball.
No, and I don't. The NBA has got a much greater problem because of the fact that they have a developmental league. The NFL's developmental leagues are the XFL and the UFL, if you count that. Like, the
NFL's developmental league is
college. So that if you want to use that, then that's your argument.
Yeah, there's
like,
no league.
If you're a G League player, you could literally just argue, well, in other leagues like the NFL, they use college as the developmental league, so it's a 1-to-1.
I would just say the NFL, they are actually the only professional sports league on earth that invests $0 into their upcoming prospect. The only league on earth. The Dodgers have camps across the world. Real Madrid, they have scouts in LA. Shit, if need, every other team, NBA, they have a G League. Every other league, you pay for your own developmental shit, except the NFL. College, you guys do all that stuff. But that's just another benefit, NFL business. But all right, I have a quick MLB's right around the corner. Just want to say a quick little tidbit. One thing I think that went really overlooked in the Dodgers spending was signing Edwin Diaz. Like Kyle Tucker
about this
signed,
the other week as
and
well,
Edwin, everyone's like, oh yeah, I guess they also got Edwin. I think for this upcoming season, Edwin has been officially named closer. Done.
Not Roki Sasaki?
Yeah, no, not Roki. Roki. Another thing about Roki, obviously they want him to be a starter long term. Duh. But the Dodgers front office has gone up to Roki and said, you need to develop a third and fourth pitch or else you're not going to be a starter. Right now, it's just fastball split. Look at Ohtani and Yama throw like 7 pitches each. And so it's like, Roki, you need to develop more pitches.
And also, I'm just going to say this. Those are two of the greatest guys. You'd be like, telling Roki has to go develop a pitch. They have two of the greatest guys, not to mention Mark Pryor also there, to literally tell him, hey, look at these ways that I grip these pitch and throw these pitches. Now you do it.
Yeah.
And they literally will just show them how to do it. Yes.
Them three, literally an hour before and after practice every day, should just be going over pitch grips together. Like
Literally.
Like Ohtani, like you got 700 mil. Part of your job's teaching the young guys how to be good at baseball. So like help him out, Roki. That's one thing. But I think Edwin Diaz could be full-time starter. And right now on the team.
Closer.
Yeah, full-time closer. We got a lot of every team in the MLB has too many righty relievers. The lefties is where it gets a little dicey. Right now it's Vesia and he who shall not be named Tanner Scott. He will be unnamed until he starts getting good again, but I'm not putting it past Tanner Scott to figure it out this year, coming in a setup role, not a dedicated closer role, getting good matchups as a lefty, getting good hand at bats rather than full-time closer. Great, get Vladdy out. All right, you're going to get smacked. Now we can use him in proper situations. That was my whole point last year. I was so anti-Tanner Scott full-time closer because I was like, if you have Scott and Vesia, you have two of the best lefty relievers in the MLB. And if they are not full-time closers, you can guarantee one of them pitching every single day.
Yeah.
But we made Tanner Scott all-time closer. Vesia, by nature, was the only lefty reliever in the pen, and he was overworked like a dog. So Tanner Scott and Vesia can trade off in these big spots, and they'll get good matchups against lefty hitters now because they'll be coming in setup roles. So I think actually Edwin Diaz being added to the team, like I'm hoping he also saves Tanner Scott, which is a stretch. It's a stretch, folks. But
we've seen crazier things happen.
I think the addition of Edwin's going to help Tanner Scott a lot. My other thing though is like we have too many starters right now. It's a great problem to have. We got very lucky last year with no starter injuries. But it's like right now the five, assuming Roki's all, we're gonna go 8 deep here. All right, so Snell, Yama, Ohtani, Glasnow, Stone, River Ryan, Sheehan, Roki. That's 8. Who am I missing? That could be 9, 10. Am I missing an egregious one? Let me know if you think. Am I missing?
I think that's it.
Still,
you said Stone. You said River Ryan.
Yeah. That's 8.
I think that's it.
Caliber MLB pitchers. Pretty much all of them. All of them at worst would be the 4 starter in every other MLB rotation across the league.
Mm-hmm.
All of them at worst. Most of them would probably be the 1, 2, or 3 on most staffs. But like,
I mean, you count Jack Dreyer? He started a couple games.
He's reliever, and he was good in the reliever role too. And same with Robo. Robo is not really considered a starter at all. But ton of starters.
Robleski too, who had a couple.
Yeah, I was bringing up. But like, Robo, that's a lefty reliever for us. But we have a ton of starters looking good, looking healthy there. I think once again, the key to this season to having just an easy 93 plus win season is going to be that health. And I think most importantly, though, I'm assuming Yama is going to be healthy for life. I think it specifically comes down to Snell. If Snell can stay healthy,
I agree with that.
If Snell can make 27 starts this year out of 32 possible, that's the biggest dub of the year. I think his health's number one thing. Glasnow, I'm assuming you're missing 15 games. That's fine, though. Starts. It's completely fine if Glasnow misses 15 games because, hey, once again, I don't think
27 starts at a Snell. I don't know about that.
I don't think Glasnow should look at a baseball until the All-Star break. Like, dude,
I think
we need you for October. So
that, or I would say you literally play him the first 2 months of the season, and then you just
shut him down. Phantom IR.
Yep.
IR.
He has a wrist issue.
Go take your summer break, bro.
Wrist issue.
Yeah. Or the best, like a calf strain. What pitcher has ever missed a game for a calf strain? Literally never. So, yeah, just throw that shit on there. But, yeah, I think that's going to be big key. And then also, I doubt it happens, but if Dave Roberts moves Shohei to 3rd and Kyle Tucker to 2nd, then this team could be lights out. He won't do it, but, that's a wish list.
Shohei off the mound?
No. Just Shohei not batting leadoff. So when Shohei hits
I thought you meant positional, and I was like,
no.
Okay,
Shohei
I don't know about that, but
just so when he hits his home runs, we score 3 runs instead of 1.
Yeah, no, that's Yeah.
Because
Although
it's
I
like
think
Shohei doesn't steal anymore. So like that was the
no.
advantage with him being leadoff, but he doesn't steal anymore. So like you still hit
What did
50 bombs.
Shohei batted 2 on the Angels, or did he bat 3?
He was like always 1. Trout's always been 2 his whole career. Trout's always.
I thought Trout might have won, and then what's the other? The other not Renfro. Who's the third?
Now I know you're not thinking Anthony Rendon because it was Joe Adell hitting 3-hole.
No, it's not Rendon. It's not Rendon.
Joe Adell was hitting 3-hole for like the past 3 years.
That's not who I'm thinking of. I'll figure it
out. Jorge Soler for a little.
No, it wasn't Soler either. Who the fuck am I thinking of? I'll have to figure it out.
I think it has to be one of those guys because the Angels haven't had a good 3-hitter maybe since like 2003. I think it's been like 23 years since they've had a good 3-hitter.
It could be. I thought there was somebody else on that team with Shohei.
Oh no,
whatever.
No, brother,
whatever.
No.
Disaster. No, whatever. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't think they'll move him, but
like we like to clown the Padres. We like to clown the Clippers. Shit, LA people like to clown the Chargers. No one's as pathetic as the Angels. I mean,
we don't need to clown them. We don't need to clown them. I actually don't know how they have fans come to their. I guess I know location, but like generally, if you're in LA, how do you end up as an Angels fan over a
OC?
Dodgers?
You're OC.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, they're the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I mean,
Anaheim. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Okay, Grant. All right. Any closing thoughts here for the episode?
Free Bediako.
I think that's the theme of the episode. Not free intentionally. Bediako. That was not the intention when we came in to record.
It was a growth. It was a learning experience. You guys saw it live.
Quite literally in real time as we developed the argument.
You saw progress.
I would like the Waterboy pod to be disclosed in any courtroom if Bediako's arguments are, if this is the argument that they use, or if any other G League member uses said argument, disclosure and would be great. But
I think the best argument is, can they med redshirt his G League career? Like, could we just med redshirt that?
Don't even open up that can of worms, Grant. Yeah, that's a lot. Tonsillitis.
He was missing some
Everybody's
games.
got tonsillitis. Everybody's got tonsillitis. The calf strains, Grant.
I think he only participated in 3 games his first year in the G League, so he would qualify for just a normal redshirt.
I don't know if the NCAA translates like that, but
I know it doesn't. But the sport's so dumb, they would find a way to connect them and be like, oh yeah, he has a red shirt from the G League, meaning he can play college again. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, Twitter, and on Instagram, Waterboy Pod. You can follow me and Grant on Twitter at every6snap Waterboy. Grant, we post episodes every week on useful podcast platforms for you to subscribe and turn notifications on so you miss a single episode. We also post exclusive content on Instagram and on TikTok as well, so make sure to check us out there so you miss anything else. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboy's out.
Also failed to mention that the best player in college basketball, he just like doesn't play in the games because he's like, just put me in the NBA. So, if that goes into any of these arguments, I mean, yeah, there's that.